Hello, everyone. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning. The sun rises. The cities are still standing. The oceans are still there. Nothing appears unusual, but something impossible has happened. Every insect on Earth has vanished. No ants, no bees, no butterflies, no beetles, no mosquitoes. Not a single insect remains alive. At first, many people might celebrate. No mosquito bites, no cockroaches, no pests in the garden. It sounds wonderful. In fact, for the first few days, most people might not even notice. But beneath the surface, a disaster unlike anything in human history would already be unfolding. Because insects are not just tiny animals. They are the invisible machinery that keeps Earth's ecosystems running. And without them, civilization itself could begin to collapse. Let's see what happens. The first major problem would arrive in our food supply. Around 3/4 of the world's flowering plants depend on pollinators. Many fruits, vegetables, nuts, and crops rely heavily on insects to reproduce. Bees alone contribute billions of dollars to global agriculture every year. Without pollination, harvests would begin to shrink. Apple orchards, almond farms, berry fields, coffee plantations. Many would see dramatic declines. Some crops might survive through human intervention, but replacing billions of insects would be nearly impossible. Food prices would rise. Certain foods would become rare. Others could disappear entirely from store shelves. And that would only be the beginning. Next comes decomposition. Every day, countless insects help break down dead plants and animals. Without them, organic matter would accumulate. Leaves, wood, animal remains, waste. The natural recycling system that has operated for hundreds of millions of years would begin to fail. Nutrients would move through ecosystems more slowly. Soils would become less fertile. Plant growth could decline. Entire food chains would begin to weaken. Then another crisis emerges. Birds. Many bird species depend directly on insects for survival, especially during breeding season. Millions of birds would suddenly lose their primary food source. Populations would collapse. And when birds disappear, the effects spread further. Predators that hunt birds suffer. Plant species that depend on birds for seed dispersal suffer. The ecological dominoes keep falling. But perhaps the most surprising impact involves the oceans. Many aquatic ecosystems rely on insects during part of their life cycle. Fish feed on insect larvae. Amphibians depend on insects. Freshwater food webs would experience massive disruptions. Even ecosystems far away from land would feel the consequences. And then there are ants. Ants alone move enormous quantities of soil every year. They aerate the ground, distribute seeds, recycle nutrients. In many ecosystems, ants function almost like environmental engineers. Remove them, and entire landscapes begin to change. Forests could regenerate more slowly. Plant communities could shift. Biodiversity could decline. But what about disease? Surely losing mosquitoes would be a good thing. And in some ways, it would. Mosquitoes transmit diseases that kill hundreds of thousands of people annually. Their disappearance would save many lives. Yet nature rarely offers simple trade-offs. Mosquitoes also serve as food for countless species. Remove one piece from a giant ecological network, and the effects ripple outward in unpredictable ways. The longer insects remain absent, the worse the situation becomes. Within years, many ecosystems would look completely different. Within decades, global biodiversity could suffer catastrophic losses. And eventually, human civilization would face enormous challenges maintaining food production at its current scale. Fortunately, this scenario remains fictional. For now. But there is a reason scientists are concerned. Many insect populations are already declining. Habitat loss, pesticides, pollution, climate change, all place increasing pressure on these tiny creatures. And while insects may seem insignificant individually, together they form one of the most important foundations of life on Earth, which leads to a fascinating realization. The future of humanity may depend not only on technology, not only on governments, not only on economies, but also on billions upon billions of tiny creatures most people rarely notice. Creatures that quietly pollinate flowers, recycle nutrients, feed ecosystems, and keep the natural world functioning. Insects may be small, but their role in the story of life is enormous. And perhaps the greatest lesson is this: sometimes the most important things on Earth are the ones we hardly ever see. If you enjoyed this exploration into one of nature's most important mysteries, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Thank you for watching DH Discovery. See you in the next adventure.